everyone. Helo pawb a croeso cynnes I webinar heno. Diolch am ymuno gyda ni. Thank you for joining us today and a warm welcome to you all to Mentor Moch Cymru webinar this evening on getting the most of your social media and ways to integrate with an e-commerce website. We're delighted to have Charlie Young from InSync with us for this webinar. Thank you very much, Charlie, for agreeing to hosting this webinar. Looking forward to study more on this topic. If you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen, and we'll make our very best to answer all these at the end of the session. Therefore, I'll hand over to you, Charlie. Thank you very much.
Good stuff. Great. Yeah, welcome to this evening's webinar on how to integrate your e-commerce website with your social media. What would be great to start with, if we can just check you all know where the chat box is and you all know where the Q&A box is. If you could let me know straight off the bat, if you do have a website, if you do have an e-commerce website, maybe what you have built your e-commerce website with, are you on Wix or Squarespace or Shopify? That would be great. That'd be good to know. And then, you know, as we run through the webinar today, when I'm giving you certain tips and tricks about how to integrate your social with your website, I should be able to tell you exactly how, depending on the platform you're using. So use the chat box in Zoom or the Q&A feature if you can find that too. And let me know if you do have a website, if you don't have a website, and what you've built your website with. That would be great. My name's Charlie. I work for a digital marketing agency called InSync. We're based in Wales. We do all sorts of different digital marketing, everything from sort of website optimization, SEO, Google Ads, email marketing, the whole lot when it comes to digital marketing, and of course, social media as well. I've been with InSync for 4 years, but I've been working in social media for around 12 years, and I've got to work with lots and lots of brands around the UK, such as Red Bull Energy Drinks, Domino's Pizza, BBC Radio, Amazon, all sorts of different businesses over the last 12 years or so. So going to be talking about how to integrate your e-commerce website with social media over the course of this webinar today. We're going to be talking about what e-commerce is, and then we're going to be talking about the two different types of social media: paid social media, paid advertising on social media, boosting posts, promoting Instagram posts, things like that, and also general organic social media, the day-to-day of what you're doing on social media. We're then going to talk about why social media and website integration is so important. And I'm going to go over sort of around six different tips that involve both organic social media and paid social media, and just general social media management on how to integrate with your website. I'm going to give you some tips as well about other social media platforms you may not be using but may be good for your business. Going to talk to you about Facebook Commerce Manager, Facebook Business Manager, and towards the end of the webinar, we'll also go over advertising on Facebook using Facebook Ads Manager, how to build different types of audiences using Facebook Ads Manager. And then there'll be a good lot of time at the end for a Q&A. If you do have any questions, keep them coming throughout the webinar, and I will try and answer them as I go, but we will set aside a good 15 minutes at the end to have a proper Q&A session. I can see lots of you are here: Lewis, Lydia, Ruth, Sharned. What websites do you have? Are you on WordPress? You're on Squarespace? Do you not have a website yet? What are you currently doing? Use the chat feature on the right hand side, or the there we go, or the Q&A feature. So yeah, Sharned's on Squarespace. Good stuff. Squarespace is a great system. The chat is disabled. Oh, I don't know why. Should be okay, but if not, Q&A section is fine.
Oh yeah,
Squarespace.
Sorry, we tend to use just the Q&A.
Oh no, that's fine. That's fine. I've got the Q&A bit open so I can see.
Great.
Yeah, Squarespace is a great tool to be using for those of you who maybe don't have a website yet. And I'm guessing if you haven't answered, then maybe you don't have a website yet. Squarespace is really, really user friendly. It's all drag and drop. It's all, you edit your website sort of on the screen that you see it on rather than two different places. And it's got great e-commerce functionality and fully integratable with all social media platforms, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Ruth, Lydia, Lewis, have you got a website? Are you online? Sharned, are you selling? Are you taking orders through your website and delivering to people all over the UK, or is it more localized? What are you doing? Looking to set up e-commerce, good stuff. Ruth, great. You're in the right place because I'm going to be talking about the sort of benefits, and I'll give you some tips on the way to go with it all. Yes, e-commerce, local and nationally, good stuff. No website yet. We deliver ourselves locally. Good stuff. Great. No website yet. Great. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and start things off then. So for those of you who don't yet have a website, e-commerce basically stands for electronic commerce, bit of an old-fashioned phrase. It refers to a business model that allows companies and individuals to buy and sell products via their website. It means that you have a website that functions as a shop. Simple as that, really. It means you can take payments through there, process orders through there, sort out your shipping through your website. There's lots of different website systems out there, what we call CMS, content management systems. And they're all effectively very, very similar, but each have their own different strengths and weaknesses. But the ones I've outlined here are all ones that anyone could basically set up with a click of a button. They're all templated websites that are basically off the shelf. You pick what you want it to look like, press a couple buttons, and there you go. You just got to fill in the text and sort your products out and things like that. So there's WordPress, and WordPress is the industry standard. I think the statistic is something like 99% of websites on the internet are built with WordPress. Everyone's website is built with WordPress. WordPress uses a function called WooCommerce to do the e-commerce side of things. And WordPress is a great system because there's nothing WordPress can't do. And because most websites on the internet are built with WordPress and WordPress is the industry standard, that means that you can basically download your website and upload it anywhere else. You know, you might be paying £10 a month for your website hosting. And suddenly someone says, well, we can do it for £2 a month. And with WordPress, you can just pick up your website and drop it somewhere else, and it costs you less money, which makes it a great system. Systems like Squarespace, Wix, and Shopify, you can't do that. Your website sort of lives on their system, and it's not going anywhere. They effectively own your website in a way. Squarespace is really good tool for websites in general, and pretty good for e-commerce as well. I think the standard package with Squarespace is about £10 a month for your website, which is around, you know, most hosting packages are sort of £6 to £40 a month, depending on what you're doing. So Squarespace is pretty entry level cost wise, and it's really, really simple to use. It's all drag and drop. It's all editable on the screen itself. So with WordPress, you might get into a stage where if you want to edit your homepage, you do that on a separate page. And then when you look at your homepage, it's all wonky and all over the place. And you go back and you change something in the back end somewhere, and then you come back to your homepage, it doesn't quite look like how you wanted it to look. Whereas with Squarespace, you are editing your website on the page you're looking at, that your customers are looking at as well. Really simple to use. And then you've got Wix as well, which is very, very similar. You know, a click of a few buttons, you've got your website, you're just filling in the information, and it's all drag and drop as well. The thing is with Wix is that you have a little bit more customizable options in terms of where you're putting your logos and your headers and your menus and things like that. Whereas with Squarespace, they basically say to you, give us your color scheme and your logo, and we'll build the whole thing. And it's simple as that. You can't really muck it up or change anything too drastically. Whereas with Wix, you might get into a point where suddenly you've dragged something halfway across the screen, you don't know how to put it back and things like that. Wix, I think, is the cheapest out there. Wix tend to be a little bit behind the times in terms of updates and things like that. So what you will find with WordPress and Squarespace and Shopify, if there's a Facebook Business Manager update, they're hot on it, and it's integrated with your website straight away. Whereas with Wix, they tend to be a little bit slower. There's some issues going on at the moment where Google Analytics is updated to a new age, I guess, of Google Analytics 4, and Wix aren't quite ready for it, whereas the other platforms are. And then you've got Shopify as well. Shopify is the most expensive of the options, quite frankly, but for an e-commerce business that's solely e-commerce, delivering all over the UK, taking lots of orders, having to do VAT and all that kind of thing, and taxes and whatever else, and you want some system to do that, Shopify is a one-stop shop. It does everything you could possibly want. Again, just like Squarespace, it's not drag and drop, but you can't mess it up. It's a rigid system where you can change a few things, but ultimately you're always going to have a great website that works. But it's about £25. I would say if you're confident with websites, you're confident with changing things, you're confident with a computer, WordPress is the industry standard and is a good way to go. If you're completely new to the website world, and maybe you're just doing sort of local deliveries and taking orders, maybe even through email and things like that, when you've got certain products available, Squarespace is probably a good way to go. And if you just want a one-stop shop of pro e-commerce goodness, then Shopify is probably the way to go. And then what we're going to be talking about today is how to integrate that website with different types of social media, different social media platforms, different tools in social media. Now, there's two sides to social media. There's the organic social media and social media management, which basically means the sort of day-to-day posting you're doing on social, what you're posting on Facebook on a Tuesday morning, for instance, and things like that, what you're putting up on your Instagram story, the sort of day-to-day running of your social media. Now, all of those posts rely on engagement to be seen by your followers. So you have 1,000 likes on your Facebook page. When you post something out, that post is probably reaching about 20 to 40 people. And if it gets lots of likes and comments and shares, then it starts to reach the other 1,000 people on your Facebook page. But if it doesn't get those likes and shares and comments, then Facebook can't think that it's not very good content that no one wants to see, and it won't show it to those other 1,000 people. So organic social media basically means organically gaining comments and likes and shares in order to reach a wider audience. But you can bypass that engagement and just pay for the reach and pay for your post to be seen by more people. So paid social media refers to boosted posts and advertising across social media. These ads and posts, you are basically paying for the reach rather than relying on engagement to gain reach. So it's just sort of two different sides. We're going to be talking about both today and how they integrate with social media. So why are e-commerce and social media integrations important? Well, 74% of consumers rely on their social networks to help make their purchasing decisions. Online stores with a social media presence create an average of 32% more sales than ones that aren't on social media. And 75% of Instagram users engage with a brand after viewing an ad. For example, they visit brand website after seeing an ad. So we're going to start talking now about the different ways to integrate your e-commerce website with your social media platforms. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is driving traffic to your website, which is, of course, the most important thing. With social media, especially for you guys and what you do, you can't take direct payment through social media, and some of you, because of the way social media works, because of the way Facebook works, and there's sort of a one-size-fits-all approach, some of you may actually find it difficult to set up things like a Facebook shop because of the products you sell. Some of you will be fine and you won't have any issues whatsoever, but sometimes Facebook assumes that you're selling live animals, and that's not allowed. So you might find that your Facebook shop can't get set up, or certain products won't work, but most of you should be fine. So how do you integrate your website with your social media? One of the first things you're going to want to do is add links to your social media pages, on your website to help increase those visits and followers on your social media pages. You will find, for those of you once you've launched your website, and for those of you who do have a website already, if you're checking your analytics, you're probably seeing that most of your traffic comes direct, people going directly to the website, or through organic search. And once someone's been to your website, you need to make sure they don't just disappear again and you capture something from them. And one of the ways to sort of capture a bit of data on one of your customers is for them to like your Facebook page or follow you on Twitter or whatever it may be. Really important thing about websites in general is that they have more than one conversion. So you would think of a conversion as a sale, for instance, or if you were a plumber with a website, you'd think of it as an inquiry through your contact form or a booking or whatever it may be. But you should really have more than one opportunity to convert a customer. So for instance, the most important thing is that someone comes through to your website and they make a sale. But Facebook's data shows that out of 100 people that visit your website from an ad, only 2.4 of those people, somehow 2.4, are going to make a purchase. So what happens to those other 98 people? Where do they go? How do you capture some sort of data from that person that allows you to get in contact with them down the line? They obviously want your product or they wouldn't have come to your website. Just something stopped them from making a purchase. But down the line, they possibly will make a purchase. So make sure on your website there's a way for you to collect email addresses. So you maybe have a pop-up that comes up on your website straight away that says, get 10% off your first order if you join the mailing list, or just a simple embedded, put your email address in here to be on our mailing list bit on your website. Maybe you have a menu that you hide behind, download our menu, just give us your email address and you can download the menu or our brochure, whatever it may be. Make sure there's a way to gather email addresses on your website, get sales on your website, and gain social media followers through your website as well. One way you can start to drive sales and talk to your customers through your website is that, and integrate your website with your social media, is that if you do have a Squarespace site, Shopify site, WordPress site, there is a Facebook Messenger chat plugin that allows people to chat with you on your website through a little messenger box where you're both replying to each other via Facebook. So they're talking to your Facebook page on their phone and you're talking to their Facebook profile, but it's just popped up in the corner. So for many of you, if someone's got a quick question, when's the delivery date? Can I order to make 2 orders, but they're going to separate addresses, whatever, all these things that, over an evening, someone might change their mind about an order, but if they can get a reply straight away, they're going to make that order. Having that chat feature on your website is a really good thing to do, a really good way to integrate your website with social media. I'm guessing the majority of you, when it comes to social media, you are using the most popular platforms. You're probably on Facebook and you're probably on Instagram. Is that the case for all of you on today? Are those the main platforms you're using? Maybe you've experimented with TikTok because your daughter's told you to. Maybe you've done a bit on Twitter because you're on there seeing what's going on with Boris and you thought I might as well set up a business page. Anyone? Or is it mainly just Facebook and Instagram that you're on? You can use the Q&A box and let me know. Facebook, Insta, Link. Oh, LinkedIn's an interesting one. Yeah, Facebook and Instagram. Oh, what are you doing on LinkedIn, Sharned? Yes, Lydia's on it, Instagram and Facebook as well. Every social media platform is different and has a different core engaged demographic. Just general, I don't like it much. Yeah, LinkedIn's like a B2B platform. It's for other business. It's for businesses to sort of network with other businesses. Facebook, every social media platform has a different core engaged demographic. If you look at the data, majority of engagement on Instagram comes from 18 to 30-year-old women. I think 64% of the engagement in this country it comes from 18 to 30-year-old women. On Facebook, if you look at any Facebook page, you'll see the biggest demographic on the page is normally 45 plus women, sometimes 45 plus men and women. The majority of engagement on Facebook comes from 45 plus men and women, which makes for selling online, which makes them Facebook a really good selling platform because it tends to be the people that are buying things and have a little bit more money to spend. What I would say is that if you aren't using Pinterest, it's definitely something you should be using. 50 to 64-year-olds make up the biggest demographic on Pinterest, and the median age of a Pinterest user is 40 years old. For the right industries, especially food and drink, Pinterest can be a really high converting platform. And the best thing about Pinterest is it's really easy to use. You can literally just upload pictures of your products, upload recipe ideas and things like that. You don't need to stick to a schedule like you do with social media. You don't have to be posting really high quality content like you do on social media. It's very, very different. With Instagram and Facebook, you've got to stick to, you might post every Monday and Thursday at 8 p.m. And you really have to stick to that schedule because Facebook starts to pick up on when you're going to post and who's going to see it when you do. Whereas with Pinterest, you don't need to worry as much. I can tell you firsthand, we've got a client at InSync who does smoked salmon and smoked cheese and smoked pork and all these different smoked foods. They are technically a butchers, I guess. And because Pinterest is a real foodie platform, they get loads of sales from Pinterest. And actually, if you look at their analytics, they're putting the same amount of effort into Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and they're really not doing anything with Pinterest. They upload a few images once every few months and just leave it in the background. And usually in a standard month, they're driving around 15 times the traffic to their website from Pinterest than they are from Twitter and Instagram combined. And the reason is it's the right target audience. So if you haven't experimented with Pinterest, I definitely recommend you give it a try. If you use the Google Chrome browser, there's a Pinterest extension for Google Chrome where you can literally just click on an image on your website, whether it's a shop item or whether it's on a blog post or whatever, and it will just automatically add it to your website. Really, really simple. And anyone that clicks on that image is going to go through to your website and hopefully make a purchase or join your email marketing list or whatever it may be. Another really important part of your Facebook page is your Facebook page button. You may not know this, but this is probably the most clicked area on a Facebook page is this button here. You can see ours on our Facebook page is send message, but you can set it to shop now and more people will see it and more people click through from it to get to your shop. I've been doing lots of consultation work with a company in North Wales who make cheese. And I told them a few months ago that they really need to be sticking to best practice on Facebook. And one of the things with best practice on Facebook is that you shouldn't post a link to your website. As soon as you post a link to your website on your Facebook page, Facebook's going to show that post to a tiny, tiny percentage of the people it would if it didn't have a link, because ultimately Facebook don't want people to leave Facebook. So if you try and make people leave Facebook, they're not going to show that post to anyone. So I told this business to stop doing that, and they listened and they said yes. And their posts started to go so much further. More people were seeing their posts, engaging with their posts, and these posts were getting 10, 20,000 impressions because they weren't including a link in their post. And what we saw is that these people would then click through onto the Facebook page because they wanted to buy the product, and they'd click on this button here. And their Shop Now button on their Facebook page grew by over 1,000% in clicks in just a few months because more people were visiting the Facebook page. And this is the big button at the top that they're going to see straight away. Another way you can integrate your Facebook account with your e-commerce website is with automated messages. This is a lifesaver. It will save you so much time. If people ask you the same questions week in, week out, when's the delivery date? Have you got this available? How much is delivery? How does delivery work? Whatever it may be, I'm sure you get all of these questions all of the time. And in Facebook Messenger, you can set up automated replies. So first of all, what you want to do is set up frequently asked questions. And when someone opens up a messenger box to speak to your business on Facebook, they'll see 4 set questions, 1 to 4 set questions that they can click on to ask. And you can set replies to those questions. So somebody says, how much is delivery? And they get a message saying delivery costs this much. And they send you a message saying, have you got this available? And they get an automated reply saying, you can check what's available by going to our website, and it's all available there. It's an absolute lifesaver. It's going to help your customers find the right products, all the right answers they're looking for. And actually, it can be a much better way to drive traffic to your website than with a simple linked post. You know, if you put a link in a post, not many people are going to see it. If you add the send message button to the bottom of your posts, more people are going to see it because it's a Facebook function that they want people to be using. Inside of your Facebook page, and in fact, I can show you right now, inside of your Facebook page, if you go to your inbox, oh no, there's been some sort of update. Hold on, because I might not be able to show you this. Inside of, here we go. So inside of your Facebook Messenger inbox, this is literally just updated. That's quite exciting. There's automated responses up here where you can set your frequently asked questions. So you can even decide what platforms you want them to be on. Click into this box, type in your question, and then type in the message and the reply they're going to get. You can even customize them. So you can say hi, and you can stick in someone's first name, so they feel like you're talking directly to them. It's a really good thing to be doing because it saves you loads of time. Ultimately, you don't want to be sat on your phone all day, every day, replying to messages when you can automate that whole system. Next thing we're going to talk about is Facebook Commerce Manager. As I say, because of the rules on Facebook Commerce Manager around selling live animals, and it's all automated, they're just scanning the text and things like that and flagging things. Some of you may struggle to do this, but it is well worth doing. The best way to get people to your website through a standard organic Facebook post is through tagged products. And you can't use tagged products unless you've set up Facebook Commerce Manager. So Facebook Commerce Manager allows you to sell products via Facebook. Firstly, using Facebook Commerce Manager, you can add what's basically a shop window to your Facebook and Instagram account, which allows users to view the products you have for sale without actually leaving Facebook and Instagram first. It's only when they go to purchase them that they leave Facebook and Instagram. And secondly, Facebook Commerce Manager allows you to tag your products in photos, which, as I said, is the best way to have a link to your website in your posts. It's quite a lengthy process setting up a Commerce Manager account. I will just sort of rush through the steps for you now. But you will get the slides after the event stage, so you can follow these steps to go through it. But if you have a Facebook account, if you have an Instagram account, you should have a Facebook Business Manager account. If you don't, go and set one up. It's really vital you have a Facebook Business Manager account. In business settings, you then navigate to accounts, and you want to set up your business manager account so it includes your Facebook page, so it includes your ads account, so it includes your Instagram account, even your WhatsApp account. You want to link everything up within your business manager account so you can then link it up with your e-commerce shop. So the first step is that you may not even know about this. Inside of your Facebook page, in the settings, there's all these different templates you can use for your Facebook page, depending on what your business does. And one of those in there is shopping. And that's sort of the quickest way to switch on the shop feature and have that on your Facebook page. You can go to templates and tabs in settings and select the shopping template, and it will add all these extra bits to your page, including the shop function. And then once you actually click on the shop section on your Facebook page itself, it's going to take you, sort of prompt you to go through to Commerce Manager and set up an account. The first thing it's going to ask you is how you want to set up your website, how you want people to pay for things. Set up your Facebook shop, how you want people to pay for things. If you have an e-commerce website, you want to choose the section that says your website. Sadly, at the moment, you can't take direct payment through Facebook and Instagram unless you are in America and you're one of the businesses that's been chosen to test the system. If you don't have an e-commerce website, you can still sell on Facebook shop via direct message. Someone has to message you to purchase, and then you tell them the bank information or give them a PayPal link to make a purchase or whatever it may be, and you take their shipping information that way, and then you send it off. But for most of you, you'll want to select your website. Once you've selected how you want people to pay for things through your Facebook shop, you'll be taken to the page where you actually start to create your shop itself. First thing you're going to see is a section where you can choose where your shop to be, so where you want your shop to be. So you can select Instagram, you can select Facebook, to make sure your Facebook shop is across both of those platforms. Once you've done that, you give your account a name, so it's just the name of your business, and then you're well on your way. The next step is to start adding an inventory of products and sort of going through and adding your products. For most of you, if you've only got 2 or 3 products, the best thing to do is just manually add your products. That's one of the options, is you can just manually add your products. Click add product, and one by one, just start adding them. But you can upload your products and add your products to your Facebook shop in a variety of different ways. If you have a Shopify website, it's literally the click of a button. You log into your Facebook page through Shopify, connect it all up, and then on each product page, you can select to send it to your Facebook shop. Really, really simple, and probably the most simple one. Squarespace, you have to upload manually or through a file. All of them you can do through a file, but Squarespace, you definitely do. Wix, you definitely do. Shopify, as I say, click of a button, it's all done. And then WordPress, slightly more complicated, but again, fairly easy. You download a plugin for your WordPress site, Facebook for WooCommerce. And then one of the options, once it's all linked up, is you just click on sync products. And when you sync your products, every now, you might add 3 products to the shop. You click on sync products, and they go into your Facebook shop. A couple of months down the line, you add a couple more products to your WordPress website. You click sync products, and they sync up with your Facebook shop. So yeah, WordPress and Shopify are probably the best for Facebook shopping integrations. The simplest way is probably to add manually. And if you have, as I say, if you have a Squarespace site or Wix site, you will have to add manually. I won't go through these other steps, but it takes you through the process of adding an image and the product name and the pricing and things like that. But ultimately, when people go to purchase that product, they're being sent off to your website to make the purchase. So you don't need to worry about having sales in different places. They all come through to the website in the end. it's a little bit scary, and it does take a lot of effort sometimes to get up and running. If you are on Squarespace, Shopify, sorry, you'll probably find it really easy, the click of a button. It can be slightly more complicated sometimes. And as I say, they aren't manually going through each product and seeing if it's in line with their terms and conditions. And I have had some businesses really struggle with the fact that Facebook think they're selling live cows on Facebook when they're not. They're actually selling beef. So you can run into trouble, but you can normally raise a ticket with Facebook and they will deal with it. Once you've got that set up, as I said, you can tag products in photos. So if you look at this photo, this is a photo from Facebook on the right from one of my clients, Jones Trust Your Gut. And you can see they've posted a really nice picture of one of their products. And there's a little button down at the bottom of the image that says click to view product. And once you've clicked on that, it will reveal this little section here and tell you what product is in the photo. You can then click on that product, go through to the Facebook shop, and then go through to the website to make a purchase. Doing it this way, let's say you've got 1,000 followers. Initially, that post is going to go out to 50 to 100, if you don't have a link in there. And it's going to gather some engagement because it's a nice big image rather than a link to your website. And it's going to go on to reach a few more people, and they're going to click on the link and go through to the website. If you had just a link to your website and you posted that, initially it's probably going to reach sort of 10 to 40 people, maybe, nowhere near as many. And because it's not an engaging piece of content, a nice image or a nice video, clues in the title, social media has to be media, it's probably not going to gather the same engagement, and not as many people are then going to see that post who follow you or don't follow you. So tagging products in photos is really the best way to drive traffic to your website. Apart from ads, which is the next thing we're going to be talking about. Has anyone done any experimenting with Facebook ads before? Anyone done any boosted posts or done anything through Facebook Ads Manager at all? It's a really good way to reach a local audience, definitely. No one done any boosted posts or ads? Typically, when I'm setting up an ad for a client, well, let's go back to the start. Really, lots of different ways to advertise across social media. With Twitter and LinkedIn, there's lots of things you can do, but really the best advertising platform is Facebook. The options for the targeting you can do, the optimizations you can do, are endless. You can do so much with it if you wanted to. In fact, I can even show you how to set up an ads that specifically don't target vegetarians and vegans if you wanted to do that. There's lots and lots you can do with it. Typically, when I set up an ad for a client, most of the time, I'm making an ad, and you can see the slides on my screen. I'm making an ad that's for traffic, for website traffic, driving traffic to a website. That isn't really integrating with your website. That's just sort of paying for more people to see a link to a website where they can click through and go and make a purchase. And typically, a lot of the time, that's what I'm doing. If you have a WordPress site or a Shopify site, you can actually integrate Facebook with your website and use a different system when you're doing your advertising, which is catalog sales and conversion ads. That actually tracks the journey the whole way through. So rather than setting up a website, setting up an ad, sending loads of traffic to your website, and then sort of hoping those people make a purchase, using the conversions or catalog sales feature in Facebook Ads Manager, you can actually see how many sales you've had from that ad. It traces the whole journey of that customer leaving Facebook, going to your website and making a purchase, rather than with a traffic ad. As soon as they get to your website, you sort of can't track them from there unless you have Google Analytics installed. So one of the ways to integrate your social media with your website, especially if you have a WordPress site or a Shopify site that really do integrate with Facebook Business Manager well, is using the conversions catalog sales feature. What I'm going to do is I'm also going to tell you other ways to advertise, and then I'm going to show you how to actually set up an ad. So one of the ways you might set up your conversions ad is by building what's called a saved audience. You put in the general age and location and gender and interests of the people that would buy your products, and send an ad out to those people. But you can also set up what are called custom audience ads. Now, custom audience ads use Facebook's data and your data to target people. So a really good way to do that is with a Facebook pixel. Now, I'm sure many of you haven't heard of a Facebook pixel and haven't heard of Facebook remarketing, but you've probably experienced it, probably even in the last few days. You've been looking for a product online, and maybe you go on Amazon and you're looking at a few different things on Amazon, and then you go over to your Facebook account and you're scrolling through Facebook and you start to see all these ads for the products you're looking at on Amazon the day before or the morning of. Has anybody experienced that lately? Anyone been followed around with ads for products they were looking at previously? Anybody had that? Yes. Yes, clever in it. Yeah, very clever. Yeah, everyone's saying yes. Yeah, it is clever, and it's not something that's just available to bigger businesses. It's available to everyone, and it's really, really cost effective. The minimum spend on Facebook is £1 a day, and if you're going to spend £1 a day on an ad, don't you want to use that money for people that are definitely interested in your product? You know, you can set up a Facebook pixel on your website, and if you have a Squarespace site or a WordPress website or Wix or Shopify, you set up your Facebook pixel through Facebook Business Manager in the events section, and it's just a click of a button and then copying and pasting some numbers from one box into another box, and it really is that simple. Once you've done that, you can create an audience of people that have visited your website but haven't made a purchase, and then you can advertise to those people for the minimum spend on Facebook of £1 a day. So you might advertise to everyone that's visited your website in the last year for £1 a day. And these are people that have looked at your products. They've seen some reviews. They know where you are in the country. They recognize your logo. They're going to be far more likely to make a purchase. I can't show you, sadly, I can't show you how to install a Facebook pixel. But what I can show you is how you make an audience from that Facebook pixel. So within your Facebook page, within Ads Manager, or just Business Manager in general, in Business Manager, you want to get to Ads Manager, or just click Ads Manager straight from Facebook, which is what I just did. And inside of Ads Manager, if I switch over to the right account, there is a section called Audiences. And inside of Audiences, you can click on Create Audience and then Custom Audience. And you can say the source I want to use for my custom audience is a website. And then you can hit Next. And then you want to find your pixel on the list. So I can see Staff in Syncs pixel. It's green, which means it's working and it's on our website. And I want to reach all website visitors in the last 180 days. But I want to exclude anyone who's visited a certain page on our website in the last 180 days. And that page contains the word checkout. So this way, I'm sending an ad to everyone that's visited the website who hasn't purchased anything. I then click on Create, give it a name, and click on Create Audience to make that audience. And then I can set up an ad for them in Facebook Ads Manager. Oh, I've opened the wrong screen there. There you go. You can also create customer list audiences as well, where you can take all the email addresses from people that have purchased from you before, or people that have joined your email marketing list through your website, and advertise directly to those people as well. So in this same section, you click on Create Audience, Custom Audience, and Customer List. And then you pull up your folder of your file of email addresses you've got. You don't need to worry about any of this information. You click on No on this section. You can then do paste, comma, separated values rather than upload a file. Pull this mailing list subscribers. Copy and paste your emails in. Hit the next button. Facebook is then going to add all of those email addresses to their system, find the Facebook accounts linked to those email addresses, and allow you to advertise to those people on Facebook. What's really good about these different types of audiences is that you can then stack those custom audiences on top of each other. So when you create an ad using Ads Manager and you build a saved audience, you're deciding that you want to reach certain people if we set this up as a traffic ad, because I won't be able to do a demo of conversions. When you do a saved audience, I'll show you. You've decided your budget and schedule, how long it's going to run for, what you want to spend. When you're building a saved audience, you're deciding, I want to reach people who are in Ceredigion, who are living there and aren't tourists, or maybe they are tourists. They are people over the age of 40, and I want to reach, I can show you, you can then go, I want to exclude people that are vegan and exclude vegetarians as well, because they don't need to be seeing my posts. So you can exclude those people. And I've built that saved audience there. But this is then the only audience that I'm advertising to. It's just these people. Whereas if you use custom audiences, if I get rid of all this, what's the best way to do this? Let's just click straight into here. I can then stack lots of different audiences on top of each other. So I can say, I want to reach everyone that likes our Facebook page. I want to reach people that have visited the website in the last 180 days. I want to reach everyone that's bought something from us before and I have their email address. I also want to reach all the people that watch our Instagram stories. You can stack all of these audiences on top of each other, and your £1 a day is suddenly reaching people that are definitely interested in what you do because they've bought from you in the past, or they regularly engage with you on Facebook, or whatever it may be. It's a really good way to do your advertising. You can do it as an ad in the back end of Ads Manager, or you can do it on the page itself. If you go through to your Facebook page, let's say you've done a post about your pork box that's available over the weekend, and you're doing a social media post about it, you'll see this little blue boost post button here. And it's exactly the same. In there, you can also go to custom audiences. Hold on. You won't have as many Facebook Ads Manager accounts as we do, so it'll be much easier to navigate. But you can also do custom audiences. So one of the choices when you're boosting a post is your custom audiences. And again, you can stack all of these on top of each other and choose as many of your custom audiences as you want, and just reach people that are definitely interested in what you do. That brings us to the end of the webinar, really, on how to integrate your website with different elements of social media. But we do have some time left for a Q&A at the end. So any questions you have, anything you want to ask, even if it's not about websites, so even if it's just specifically about social media or other elements of social media that aren't integrating with your website, I'll give you a couple of minutes to get those questions in the Q&A box, and I'll answer those for you. Anything you want to know, even if you want to know more about ads, if you want to know more about e-commerce websites and not about integration, whatever you want to know, really, yeah, pop a question in the question box and I'll answer those for you.
Great, thank you very much, Charlie.
Thank you.
While you have a little think about the questions, I'll just briefly go over what Mental Health Cymru has available that's relevant for this webinar. So Mental Health Cymru has bespoke marketing support, £750 available to eligible businesses for anything that will help you regarding marketing and helping your business to get the word out there. Therefore, contact me or Lauren to discuss further, and we can help you and guide you through the process. Therefore, thank you very much, Charlie. Very brilliant and interesting webinar. We'll just wait until there's any questions. Oh, there's one question just come in.
Here we go. Yeah, Ruth asks, what's the best way of catching people's attention via social media posts? And really the best way to do it is by creating good, interesting content. Videos will always capture people's attention much better than photos. And it's just about making interesting content, really. I'm not sure how else to describe it, really. But if you're creating interesting videos, then people are going to watch them. If you're going to do 3 tips for the perfect barbecue this summer as a video, whatever it might be, how to prepare this, different recipe videos, whatever it may be, the more content, the better. Social media is called social media for a reason. I think businesses forget that, and they'll just post a link to their website, tell people how much things cost and what postage is available. But actually, if you post media, interesting videos, good looking photos, that's when you start to catch people's attention.
Yeah, that's definitely, we've, with Mental Health Cymru websites, we've realised when we post a video, the interest and the views
Absolutely.
we have compared to just a normal post is, but
Yeah. Absolutely.
everybody likes to watch a video, don't they?
That's it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, very good. Suggestion. Yeah. Any more questions or anything at all you want to ask Charlie while we have the expertise here?
For those of you still trying to decide what kind of website system to go with, I would say Shopify is really the best for e-commerce. If you're taking lots of orders and sort of delivering all over the country, Shopify is definitely the one to go with. If you're very new to websites and you're looking for something cheap and easy that can take orders through a contact form that are maybe local deliveries and things like that, Squarespace is probably the best one to go with, definitely. How do you get around the meat Facebook ban on ads? We've had a few, usually pics of meat. Yeah, this is sort of what I was talking about earlier. Actually, you can sell meat on Facebook, and you can sell meat through Facebook ads. I know because we have plenty of clients that do it. The Facebook shopping is the issue. What you can't sell is live animals, and Facebook will often read your text. A robot of Facebook will read your text and decide that you're selling real live animals when actually you're not. It's a difficult thing to get around. Sometimes you'll slip through the net, sometimes you won't. I guess try and be quite a few have been passed after appeals, some don't. And it's because there's not a real human there appealing them. It's just a robot who just scans over it and says yes or no. Computer says no. It's really like that. So sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's not. Just make small tweaks. You might make one ad, and then you've got a word in there to do with animals a few too many times, and maybe you get rid of 2 pigs, and suddenly, in terms of the word pigs, you get rid of that twice, and then suddenly the new ad is fine because it doesn't talk about pigs as much. It's a weird system, and people have had real issues with it. Some people have been banned from ads because of it, when really they're doing nothing wrong. Sometimes you'll slip through the net and it'll be fine. Sometimes it won't. Sometimes you appeal and it's fine. Sometimes it's not. Just try and be a little bit more ambiguous with the language and you should be okay.
Great, thank you very much. Any last questions now before we come to a close? I think you've answered everything then. Charlie.
Good stuff. Great. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.
No, great. It's been great. Thank you very much for hosting the webinar. It's been brilliant, and I think been really good advice and support for the producers. So this will be recorded. Well, it's recorded, so it'll be on YouTube for you to watch back or watch any of the demos that Charlie showed us. So that will be up next week. Lydia said, thank you, very interesting. Thank you very much. Thank you for joining, everybody.
Good stuff. Cheers, Lydia. Cheers, Sinead. Thank you very much.
Sinead again, thanks, Charlie. Really insightful. Great. Thank you very much. So thank you all for joining, and thank you very much, Charlie, once again for hosting a brilliant webinar, and hope to work with you again soon. I'll paste the evaluation form in the chat now. Sorry, I'll just have to change it to everyone. If you could have a few minutes just to complete the form, we'd be grateful as a project, so we can arrange future events. That would be great. I'll also send it over email again too, as a reminder. So I think we've come to a close there. Thank you very much.